Today we are working on section 5-4, which is properties of triangles. And so the first thing that I want you to remember is that all three angles in a triangle add up to equal 180. All right, that's super important. It's going to help you find answers in this section that we're working on. So copy this down, and then we're going to move on to different types of triangles. So a scalene triangle has no congruent sides or angles. So none of the sides or angles are the same length or the same measure. Write this little fact down. And remember, the sign for congruent is an equal sign with that little wavy line on top, so I'm going to be using that instead of the word congruent from now on. So it has no congruent sides or angles. An isosceles has two congruent sides and angles. Two congruent angles, two congruent sides. And the angles that would be congruent to each other are going to be the ones that are across from the sides that are congruent. So directly across from this side, this angle would be equal to this angle. And then an equilateral triangle has all angles and sides congruent. Okay, so their angles are all the same size. If the sides are the same size, the angles are the same size. And remember, you're going to see that little dash line in a side or an angle to show that it's congruent to the other sides that have that same little dash. Okay, so the first three triangles are classified by their sides, but these next three are going to be classified by their angles. So an acute triangle means that all angles are less than 90. Obtuse means that one angle is greater than 90, and only one can be greater, because otherwise it won't be a triangle. One angle is greater and then a right triangle, of course, means that one angle and only one is 90 degrees, equal to 90 degrees. Okay, so properties of triangles. We have 5 properties that we're going to talk about, and these are just facts about triangles that we need to know. Property 1 is the sum of the angles in a triangle equal 180 degrees. Okay, property 2 says the sum of the lengths of any two sides are going to be greater than the length of the third side. So you can add any two sides up and it will be greater than the third side. Property 3 says the longest side is opposite of the largest angle, and the shortest side is opposite the smallest angle. So in other words, the sides and the angle that they're across from correspond to each other, because if it's a small angle, it's a short side. If it's a large angle, it's a long side. Okay, so this one, I'm going to draw a picture to go with it so it's a little bit easier to understand. It says if one side of the triangle is extended, so for example, I have this triangle, but this one side keeps going, then the exterior angle that's formed, so this angle here, remember exterior means outside, is going to be equal to the two remote interior angles. So the two angles that are farthest away from that exterior angle, but on the inside of the triangle. So that one and that one. So you can add these two together and it's going to equal that exterior angle over there. Okay, so the last one, property 5, says if two sides of a triangle are congruent, then the angles opposite those sides are congruent. So this is like the isosceles triangle. So remember, the isosceles has two sides that are the same size, and the angles across from those sides are also the same size. So this angle is going to be the same as that angle. That's what it's saying. Okay, so on page 208, numbers 1 and 2, the directions say, state whether it is possible to have a triangle with the sides of these lengths. So remember that one property that we talked about, any two sides will add up to be greater than the third side. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take two sides, add them, see if they're bigger than the other side, take two more sides, add them, and keep going until we've figured out if they're all bigger than the third side. So 12 plus 7 equals 6. We're going to just add the first two and put it equal to the third angle. So 12 plus 7 is 19. Is 19 bigger than 6? Yes, I did that wrong. This should be a greater than sign. Okay, so yes, that one works. So now we're going to take a different one. We're going to do 7 plus 6 and make it greater than 12. And 13 is greater than 12. And then let's take the last two sides. And 12 plus 6 is 18, which is greater than 7. So yes, this could be a triangle because every two sides is bigger than the third side. So let's do the same thing for number 2. So already before I even have to add this, I can tell that 13 is bigger than 5. So 13 plus 7 is definitely going to be bigger than 5. So I don't even have to add those. I can just say, yes, that's going to be bigger. Let's try this one. 7 plus 5 is 12. Is 12 greater than 13? Anybody? No, it's not. So this one is not a triangle because those two sides are not bigger than the third side. For numbers 5 and 7, it says find the unknown angle in each picture. So what I need to do to find the first one, we know that all the angles add to 180. So I can just add the two angles they gave me and subtract that number from 180. So 35. So x is going to equal 35 degrees. Okay? Now number 7 is a little more involved. We're going to use that property about the exterior angle to help us solve this one. Or we can just use the supplementary angles to find the answer to this one, because I see this straight line at the bottom. So I know that I could pick either these two and they're going to equal 180, or these two together are going to equal 180. So let's find z first. I'm just going to do 180 minus 58. I got 122. Okay? So now I can clearly see that y is going to equal 58, right? Because that's just the opposite of the other one that we just did. Now to find x, I can just add 58 plus 58 and subtract that answer from 180. got 116. And I got 64. So x is going to equal 64. So when you're answering a question like this, I recommend just drawing the picture because then you can write the answers right on the picture like I did. Otherwise, you're going to have to set your answer up to be like this. You're going to have to show me what each one equals. You cannot just do the math and leave it on the paper for me to figure out your answers, okay? So if you don't draw the picture, then your answer would look like this. All right, so for today's IXL, I just wanted to quickly talk to you about it. So it says a triangle has measurements of 71, 90, and 19. What kind of triangle is it? Well, immediately I see this 90, and I know it has to be a right triangle. This one, I don't see any 90, and I don't see anything greater than 90. So if they're all smaller than 90, it's going to be acute. What kind of triangle is this? Again, you're looking at the degrees. That's what's going to tell you what kind of triangle it is. So, are they all less than 90? No. One is 99. So if one is greater than 90, what kind of triangle is it? Yeah. Obtuse. Greater than 90 is obtuse. Ah, you have a different one then. Let me see if I can get to some of those. This one is going to be, oh, is this scalene? Okay, so if it's asking you if it's scalene, remember scalene has no equal sides and no equal angles. So is this scalene? Yes, because none of the angles are the same. What kind of triangle is this? I see an obtuse angle. What kind of triangle is this? Okay, I'm looking at the sides. They're all different. When they're all different, it's scalene. On this one, I see that two sides are the same. That's isosceles. So is it isosceles? Yes, it is. I see a 90-degree angle. So that one would be a right angle. Okay, and I think you get the idea. So that's all for today, and I'll see you next time.